Black fatigue is when I can hear you 10 miles away in Walmart with your 5 fucking kids.
Ah, yes, black people are the only ones that can have numerous amounts of children. Never seen a Mexican clown car in my entire life. And I've absolutely certainly never seen an overweight white woman with 5 kids with 3 different babies, fathers in Walmart. No, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Has to be a completely uniquely Negro experience, I guess. I don't know. Continue.
Black fatigue is when you have no home training.
I'm not exactly sure I understand exactly what you mean by that. Now, I assume what you mean by that is that these individuals don't really care about their environment as such. They will litter or destroy it. They won't maintain it or take care of it. Yeah, sure. I mean, my whole time being on Earth, I just kind of thought that was a people thing. I've seen very many hillbillies and there I would say Mexicans also as such do the same thing, litter their environment, not manage it, not take care of it. Which is interesting, right? Because as I say, I've seen some Mexicans do that, but I've also seen Mexican lawn care men, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like be a little stupid if I were to, look at all of those dirty Mexicans as a reflection of all Mexicans when some of those Mexicans are actually paid to maintain an environment. I don't know. It'd be kind of stupid to do something like that, wouldn't it? I don't know.
And you have no idea how to act in public.
Oh, that's what you were referring to. I guess I probably should listen a little bit more. Damn, my impatience might add to your plight. I mean, I don't even know what to say to this one. I mean, it's just the idea that only niggas are the only ones. Look, listen, we've all had our spats with, some nigga doing something, in some environment, and we've all certainly have seen videos, but I mean, the idea that you have black fatigue because some nigga did something in public that you didn't like is fascinating to me. Not because there's seems you're complaining about something that is annoying, but it also sounds like you're complaining about something you could remove yourself from as well. It doesn't seem like you're beholden to niggas behaving in a silly, stupid way. I certainly have never been. In fact, if I see hooligans, I take it as my cue to exit stage left. I don't know, right? Yeah.
And a lot of it is culture.
If it is the case that it is culture, why do you refer to the term as black fatigue instead of... Well, evidently, all those behaviors you've named, which to be fair is 2, is actually the behaviors of low-class people. So, I just kind of find it interesting that you don't have low-class fatigue. You have black fatigue, as if only niggas exhibit having large amounts of children and act like hooligans in polite society. I mean, the fact that you perceive that to be a nigga thing might say something, but here I am being intelligent or something like that.
I've been in the hood. I've been in the fucking schools and the projects where I was the only white girl there.
It does show. I'm not kidding, it does show. More with your voice. Your voice is very deep, raspy, a wee bit masculine. I believe you've absolutely been in the hood. The thing that concerns me is that you would have been in the hood and you would have seen that there would have been many a nigga who did not behave in which the ways of such you describe them. I find it quite interesting that at the end of your experience of you being in the hood and being in school and being around all of these black people, you walk away with the worst interpretation of them. What can you do, right? What can you do? No, seriously, what could you do? You could, treat people like they're individuals, consider their own individual actions, and not come up with I'm going to be quite honest with you, frivolous of reasons to have black fatigue. Seriously, I can hear your kids down 10 aisles in Walmart. I can hear them. And I see all these hooligans running around, and I just don't want to, I see all these YNs, and I'm just so tired of seeing them disturb my polite society. I mean, I've never seen a hillbilly do anything like that. And I've definitely never have seen an overweight white woman with 5 kids. You know, I've only ever seen black women that operate in this manner. And I've never seen a Mexican lady either. But, you know, it's just, can you, your kids. I mean, the worst part about all of this that kind of concerns me is the fact that you could have cooked with this one. We wanted to talk about black fatigue. Like, I don't know, you could have hit us up with those deep-rooted stereotypes. Like, black fatigue is when black men impregnate women and don't help them. I mean, you could have cooked with that one. I find it also very interesting that you didn't lead with that. But who am I to backseat direct your video? By all means, continue.
And I can 100% guarantee you that it's culture.
So then, why do you call it black fatigue?
When majority of y'all know someone who has been unalived by another black person.
You know what I find oh so very interesting about that? You know, I can't speak to knowing my niggas being slain by other you know, I find this, it's fascinating. So these YNs kill each other. They destroy the environment for each other. They make life harder for each other. But somehow in that, you have black fatigue. I mean, the self-importance is absolutely disturbing, might I say. Bloody hell.
Way more than any instance of a black person being unjustifiably unalived by the police. That's black fatigue.
Right. So there's that. But then there's also just like I don't relate to this, you know, which calls into a quite interesting question, right? You know, I don't relate to knowing more of my friends who have been killed by niggas in comparison to my friends who have been killed by police officers. I don't spend time around individuals of whom would find themselves in such precarious situations one way or the other. But you know what I find oh so very interesting? I have had friends who have unfortunately killed themselves. I remember back when I was in high school. I remember legitimate denial. It's interesting, legitimately. I remember I was cruising out on Facebook, and I saw one of my friends. He said, you know, rest in peace. And I was like, I laughed. I was like, rest in peace. What, is he moving? I was like, what do you mean? Why are you being over dramatic? You'll see him again. He's just moving. And I remember I just kept scrolling. And as I scrolled, I remember everyone, they just kept saying the same thing. And I went on his Facebook page and I saw that he had killed himself. And I remember sitting there. I was just so sad. I was so sad because I had just seen him the other day. I had just talked to him. It was like 2 days. I literally I just saw him like 2 days ago. And when I talked to him, he gave me some great news. He says he was joining the early college program that I was a part of, and it's a fortunate opportunity. It's a great opportunity, and I was so happy for him. I was like, because I love doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I was just happy for him, man. And you know, and I just couldn't. I just remember I kept saying it over and over and over again. I was like, I just kept saying it, and I was like, I just saw him. I was like, I just saw him. And I remember I finally acknowledged that he died. I went to my room and I cried. I cried quite a bit, actually. I was so sad. You know, the interesting thing about that is that the friend of mine who killed himself, of whom affected me so much that I desire to try to help other people. It affected me so much it even affected the way I interacted with my ex-girlfriend, much probably to her chagrin. Yeah, you want to know a fun fact about his racial ethnicity? I'll tell you, he was a white person. friend of mine who I loved quite a bit, who killed himself, was a white person. So I wonder, how does that fit into your black fatigue? I'm very curious. You're so tired of people dying and everything. Are you tired of people dying by their own hand because they live in a bullshit society that puts way too much pressure on them? Just out of curiosity. Since you're oh so very tired and you feel such black fatigue at the fact that other black people kill other black people. I'm just curious. I'm just, rather fascinated in how you experience black fatigue. I don't know, I'm just asking.
As well as donating to Carmelo Anthony and Rodney Hinton Jr.
I can't speak to Rodney Jr. I don't know. I can't speak to. I don't know that. I don't know nothing. But the idea of being or feeling slighted because people donated to Carmelo Anthony, who, need I remind you, is a 17-year-old man, apparently, right? You see, even I am not without my own preconceived notions. In fact, I remember the very first time I even discussed the topic, even I believed that Mijor Anthony was some YN that had a knife and he did not truly understand or respect the proposition of power that it holds. But with more information, I was able to change my mind ever so slightly. I would say maybe a little bit or quite a bit, actually. That maybe I was wrong and maybe I shouldn't assume the worst of Negroes just because they happen to be Negroes. You see, even I am not immune to it. But the difference between you and I apparently seems to be that I have enough grace, compassion, and fucking intelligence that maybe donating to Carmelo Anthony doesn't mean that you hate Whitey, number one. It doesn't mean that you're donating to a murderer as such he's yet to be convicted. And maybe, now just maybe, donating to Carmelo Anthony shouldn't really even have any impact or effect on how you feel about other people who didn't. Because I didn't donate to Carmelo Anthony. I don't donate to anyone. Because my money is my money is my money is my fucking money. That's how I feel about it.
When you aren't able to hold your own community accountable, that's a problem.
I don't understand this dumb shit. I really don't. You say that as if there's like a king of niggas, right? Like the nigga pool, the blicky, Caliborn, you know what I'm saying? I guess from the crack mound of selection, right? I guess he pulled the blicky Excalibur out, right? He became the once and future king of the niggas, and we just aren't obeying his decree. What the fuck are you talking about? Again, this dumb shit, right? You can't hold your own community accountable. Nigga, no one can hold females accountable for the fact that they spread their legs open and got blasted by a nigga they knew damn well was a jackass that they should have never been talking to, right? Like, to even suggest that perhaps maybe young women, just a part of humanity, should consider the destiny of their child via the man they chose to reproduce with, that's wrong. But you somehow suspect us to hold an entire community accountable for what? To what end? How are we supposed to do that? I don't even understand why you even believe it's a thing that any one person could even do, right? You seriously, what is with this hold your community accountable as if there aren't songs, as if there aren't different political leaders, as if there aren't different local leaders, as if there aren't multiple different people, even just on the local YouTube level of just talking to niggas and trying to tell them to be better people all the time. What are you even talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I gotta tell you, this drives me insane. Like I'm supposed to find the blicky of Bandera, you know what I'm saying? And then just own and then just command the Negro community? Hold on. Niggas, nigga cats! Oh! What do you mean, how? How are we supposed to do so? Tell me, young white lady, tell me, you pretty, beautiful, dumbass white lady, how are we supposed to, am I supposed to duel Dr. Umar in a fucking shadow game to obtain leadership over the Negroes? Is that, and then I can hold them accountable? With what force? With what metric? Right? I just don't understand, right? I just don't get it. All right, Umar, it's time to duel. I'm going to save my people from your Pan-Africanism, right? And then Umar's going to come out like, my brother, you really think you can beat me? My man, you over here talking all these snow bunnies. Well, I got a snow bunny for you in defense mode. The fuck? What the fuck, bitch? Like, what? I just don't understand this dumb shit. Like we could hold an entire community of individuals accountable for what? Everyone in the community didn't do the bad thing. And considering that we have a prison industrial complex, a whole legal system that holds people accountable for when they commit crimes, and considering the fact that we have a whole social system that besmirches people when they do dumb shit that other people don't like, I don't know what the flip you're talking about. I don't understand why you think that there's even a possibility we could do that. And you know the worst part about it all is, it's not enough that you think that we could do it, as if there's some king of niggas out there that is ushering decree again, the emperor of Negroes, right? It's not just that. What really fucks with me, what really fucks with me is the fact that black people already tried to. From Anton Daniels to Kevin Samuels to niggas who are like myself. Of course, I don't have quite the amount of clout, but, you know, I've tried to hold Negroes accountable for very many years now. I just find it also very interesting. You have people who worked in the Boys and Girls Club. You had teachers, coaches on sports teams. I find it also very interesting that you have the arrogance to believe that you wish to hold Negroes accountable, that you have black fatigue, but all the different black leaders, all the black fathers who get shut out of their families' lives, all of those friends of the deceased who wish their other friend didn't get hit as a casualty in a drive-by. It's you. It's you. You think that we need to hold ourselves accountable. Not all of the black people who are already and have been trying to do so for literally years. But you have black fatigue. Okay.
We're not going to sit here and act like this is new now. Because now white people are speaking out.
The arrogance is astonishing. Wait a minute. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? What am I talking about? I forgot. I don't see how I could have forgotten. But you're a white woman. Of course. You were that arrogant. Of course. Like, what is wrong with me? You want to know something? That's my bad. I should have remembered that. As a pretty white woman, you think the whole world begins and ends with your perception. I do apologize. My bad.
Especially when we've been told for so long to feel sorry for our whiteness and that we have white tea privilege, whatever the fuck that means.
You have white tea privilege. Isn't what many of your ilk say, privilege is invisible to those who have it. You see, perhaps maybe you could say that white men don't really have a lot of privilege, and even then, that's not exactly true. First of all, if you live in America, no matter what your race is, you've got a lot of privilege. I think a lot of people spend too much time bitching about the fact that lives suck, that they don't ever take a moment to appreciate the fact that they live in America. But tabling that discussion to the table, my friend, you do have a lot of privilege. You have white woman privilege. You see, you have the ability to complain, right? You have the ability to pretend. You have the power of deception. You have the ability to fall back and act like a victim. You have the strength of social systems always ready to back whatever you do, whether it's reasonable or not reasonable. It's just that because you're an arrogant white woman, you think that like the world revolves around you anyway. You don't really think, you just kind of take it for granted. You don't ever really consider or think about it. Look at this video right here. This video right here is hilariously fucking stupid. You have black fatigue, not because of the behaviors of black people specifically or even particularly, but actually because of behaviors that are just found in low-class people. And yet, when you had the ability, the voice, the power to suggest that maybe this stuff isn't actually immoral. Having 5 kids that are loud is not immoral. And even lacking home training is not immoral. It's certainly annoying. You definitely don't like seeing it, but these people aren't evil. When you call out the thing that is evil, it's something that doesn't even affect you. It affects the people that have given you black fatigue. And instead of taking the opportunity of being a very attractive, beautiful woman to, I don't know, encourage goodness, morality, compassion, wisdom to people, use your sexuality to actually lead individuals, particularly males, into a direction of goodness, you instead bitch. And you bitch about some things that don't affect you. You bitch about some things that don't even make sense for you to be upset about, and particularly even be upset with black people specifically on, as again, all of the behavior can just be found in fucking human beings in general. And then at the end of all of this, you come back here. You come back here to pretend that you don't have the privilege you have as an attractive white woman. Miss me, please and thank you. Get the fuck out of here.
For something no white person alive today did.
Oh my, I find it also very fascinating how you're able to figure out that we probably shouldn't treat an entire race of people poorly based on the actions of other people they didn't have anything to do with. Well, how about that?
And no black person alive today has experience.
So you okay, so you get it. Okay, so just do me a favor. If you understand that we shouldn't mistreat white people for actions of their ancestors, you understand that, you got that. Now just follow me here. Now imagine, we're going to do the same thing, but for people who aren't white, okay? That's just number one. And those people who aren't white, we're going to call them black people. And we're going to do the same thing. Now we're going to do the same thing you just did, but we're going to do it for black people. And all of the low-class gangster nigga drug dealing, single mama, irresponsible shit, okay, we're just gonna, so those niggas, right, we're not gonna treat every nigga poorly and coin a term that collectivizes all of us in principle as that nigga, and then treat all of us like we're that nigga, right? You know what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? I mean, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna apply it to black people. We're just gonna treat them like they're the same, right? Right? Is that, you follow me? You follow me? You picking up what I'm putting on the table? You see what I'm saying?
There is no way that y'all thought that we would be quiet for this long.
The thing that kind of bothers me is the fact that you believe at any point in time young white men were ever quiet. Woman, where the flip have you been? I forgot. You're a white woman. Your world begins and ends as far as your perception. You cannot possibly imagine or fathom a world of which things happen outside of what you perceive, right? And so now, because you said something, now white people are no longer being quiet.
You know, having us on our knees, kissing BLM's feet, still begging for the reparations that you are not fucking owed because you did not go through what your ancestors went through. No.
Look, listen, my dear, I care not for any reparations. In fact, when was the last time a nigga even asked for reparations? Was it? Were you referring to Tariq Nasheed? What? Dr. Umar Johnson, my sister? Is that who you, like, I don't care about reparations. You know what I would like? This is what I would like. No! Not your WAP, okay? Just because I called you pretty in the last clip doesn't mean that I want you, all right? You know what I'm saying? Chill out on that, right? What I want is that maybe you don't use a word that encapsulates all black people for the shit that low-class people do, and then ascribe that behavior to the culture of black people as if low-class people don't do the shit you're upset about. I would appreciate that very much, that you just own the fact that you're classist. Or perhaps more you're racist because you assume that the class is black, and evidently fat white women with 5 kids and white people killing each other and white teenagers not having home training, they don't count. They don't give you any societal fatigue, I guess, you know. I don't know. I just think that maybe, treating everyone based on your preconceived notions of some dumb shit you saw on the internet might be some bullshit. I don't know. Maybe just, maybe, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Nobody cared about race until you started blaming white people for all of your current problems.
Okay. Listen, to be fair, I didn't blame white people for all of my current problems. I blamed white women. Listen, in conclusion, I think black fatigue is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Even the original definition. Well, I won't call the original definition the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Listen, I spent a lot of time not really playing the race card and like really lamenting or talking about it or even appreciating or caring too much about the fact that I happen to be afflicted with the dark mark of being a nigga, of having the Negro dragon within me. Right, I guess. And I think part of the reason why is because, to be honest with you, it's really not entirely important to me. It's not really a thing I chose. It's not really a thing I can control. It's just kind of a thing that happened. I spent times lamenting being a Negro. This much is true. But as I've gotten older, I've come to really appreciate it. In fact, as I've gotten older, I'm actually kind of quite glad that I'm a Negro. Why? Why, you may ask? I'll tell you why. Quite glad, quite fascinated at the fact that I am. I spend a lot of time, being a sad individual, being a depressed individual, trying to figure, why do I look the way I look? Like, I always felt like I was, unattractive. I always felt like I was unloved, uncared about, and I spent a lot of time, again, lamenting the fact that I was indeed a black person. I just am just kind of curious as to, like, why did I have to be the way that I was? And I think that maybe I might have an answer. I think part of my existence, not all of it, but I think a huge chunk of my existence, I think part of the reason why I exist as a Negro is to show all of you dumb, stupid sons of bitches who think that you can besmirch groups of individuals based on your dumbass stereotypes are indeed dumb, stupid sons of bitches. And if you thought maybe all of 2 to 3 fucking minutes, it's not reasonable to treat entire groups of people any particular way, even if you have trauma. Don't get me wrong. I've encountered very many white women who are fucking assholes. But it would be ridiculous for me to treat all white women like they're fucking assholes. Some of them are prissy, stupid bitches. Some of them are depressed individuals that hate the way they look and have body dysmorphia and are suicidal. They're not all the same. And it would be dumbass shit to treat them as if they were all the same, because they're not. If I, with my little pea brain, stupid, Negro, dumbass, low IQ perception can figure that shit out, then perhaps maybe you, as the superior individuals of our entire human fucking species, can also deduce that maybe, now just maybe, everyone doesn't like low-class, loud, obnoxious behavior. But I do find it oh so very interesting how none of you dickheads ever seem to find it in your hearts to discuss how we should all dislike being evil and cruel and monstrous. You all take that shit for granted and yet find it in your hearts to bitch about a woman with 5 kids. You don't even know if the woman's married. You just know she had sex more than 5 times. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. And to be quite honest with you, it is a hilarious waste of time. You could talk about how much you dislike people just being cruel and wicked towards each other. But instead, you find it in your heart to bitch about black people shooting other black people and then not doing anything to even begin to articulate what's wrong with that. Instead, you use it as a mark against all of them, even though it hurts them and not you. I gotta tell you, that's one of the silliest things in the whole entire world to me. But I don't know, maybe my small Negro brain can't figure out how somehow you're upset with black people as a whole culture and class in existence when they somehow hurt each other more than they hurt anyone else. But again, maybe I'm just too damn stupid to figure that shit out. So that being said, I actually hope you guys got something out of today's video, and if you did, I don't know, man, go and click the like button. As you go and click the subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I will see you cool cats soon.